I was saying through
Just
this
remember
that you can start the second exercise. Trudy, where are you? Trudy. The message delivered to the detective was obscure. So the opposite of obscure, the opposite word from the list of obscure would be what? If it's not obscure, then it's
deceitful.
What does obscure mean?
I don't know.
Who said I don't know? You want me to come through this and beat you? There's no way I can give you an exercise like that and you tell me that you don't know.
Miss, assignment.
Go again, Trudy.
Me do this part, but guess what? Miss, I did this part, but I sent it to you because I had opened the page and just edit it, so I don't have anything in front of me right now.
Okay, I think I sent you back a response to Trudy. I think when I looked at your thing, you had done one section and you didn't do the part, and I sent you, right, and I told you back. I told you that there was something that I didn't do. All right, obscure, yes. But you still need to tell me what obscure means. Even if you don't have the paper in front of you, you should be able to tell me. If you don't have your work in front of you, what you did, it still should be able to tell me what obscure means. Is it
uncertain?
Does anybody else know what it means?
Mrs. Uncertain.
Obscure means uncertain.
It's not clear.
Obscure means it's not clear.
Yeah.
Right, so if it's not clear, what is the word? If obscure means not clear, then what is the word there that would be the opposite of that?
Assure.
Miss, sorry, it was insufficient.
No, can be insufficient. If the message was unclear, right? Which word from that list? It can be insufficient. Are you going to say that the message was insufficient?
Miss, I have prominent.
Can be prominent either. You want to describe a message as being, well, no. There's another word there that should just pop out right at you.
It's explicit.
It has to be explicit. Explicit means that it's right in your face. It's very obvious. You don't need anything you don't need to wade through it to find out what the meaning is. It's very clear. So it will be explicit. The huntsmen set out at a leisurely pace. Leisurely. Leisurely means that they're just doing what?
Miss, I have brisk.
All right, so the opposite of leisure or leisurely would be brisk. Number 3 is very easy though. The opposite of tragic. Opposite of tragic is?
Miss, somebody have a bad feedback there now.
Yeah, it hurts.
Opposite of tragic. Opposite of tragic would be comic.
Miss, I have comic.
Yes, comic. Opposite of spruce. Everyone in court commented on the accused spruce appearance. Spruce would mean that they are well groomed. That the accused would have been well groomed. That he would be neat and tidy. What's the opposite of that?
Unkempt.
Opposite of that would be unkempt. A plenteous supply of ammunition was a major factor in deciding the colonel's tactics. Plenteous, opposite of plenteous.
Insufficient.
Good. His question met with a candid reply. Opposite of candid.
Deceitful. Explicit.
Deceitful.
Okay. Opposite of candid is deceitful. I think, all right, let me let you continue. Let me let you finish and then I comment on it. The opposite of candid is deceit. What does candid mean?
Open, to be open.
To be open?
Yeah, like you just speak the truth.
All right, so candid would mean frank and honest and truthful. The opposite would be deceitful. Deceitful could work as the opposite of candid.
Well, deceitful, you hide, you're not really open.
And yet you're not honest either. All right. The road over the hill was built with voluntary labor. Voluntary, what's the opposite of that? If it's not voluntary,
compulsory,
then it's compulsory. The hut was located in a secluded part of the countryside. Opposite of secluded. Opposite of secluded is prominent. The celebrated composer lived and died in the tiny village where he grew up. Celebrated, opposite of celebrated. And this is where I have the problem. That's why I said I'll allow you to continue and then I comment on it. Did you find an antonym for celebrated?
Something like famous, something like that.
So celebrated would mean famous. What would be the opposite of it? Did you find an antonym for it from the list?
From the list, no.
Right. So apparently one was left off. I wanted to see if somebody had picked that up. So one was left off. Can anybody give me an antonym for celebrated, an antonym that would be appropriate to use in this context? So if the person is not celebrated, then he's what? What would be an appropriate antonym to use here?
Miss Unknown?
Unknown composer.
Okay.
So you're saying if the person is not famous and they're unknown?
No.
All right. Okay. The unknown composer. Number 10, initial. If it's not initial, then it's final.
Final.
All right. We need to go a little bit faster than how we're going right here now. All right. Let's see. The pain is tougher. So at activity 2, you saw this one though, Trudy. Trudy not answering me. The pain
Okay. The pain.
Yes,
The
go
pain
ahead.
he suffered had him in great agony.
Wonderful. Number 2. One, Trudy, man.
That ungrateful.
All right, Shelley, wonderful. That ungrateful girl never thanks those who help her. Number 3.
A violent storm swept away the house.
A violent storm swept away the old house. Good. Yes, good. Number 4.
I did not visit him often, just occasionally.
Good. Number 5.
Startling. Wait.
Startling. Yes, man. Yes, it's true. There was a loud noise startling me out of my sleep. Good. Number 6.
The police released him.
Good. Since he was innocent of any crime, the police released him from custody. Number 7.
We try to console him.
Yes, console means to comfort. We tried to console him when he failed the test. Good. Number 8.
The angry marchers hurled.
Good. The angry marchers hurled stones through the shop windows. Next.
I did nothing to deserve the reproach.
Reproach. Reproach is the word. I did nothing to deserve the reproach I got from the teacher. Good. Next.
Pounced.
Good. The carrion crow circled, then swiftly pounced on the dead dog. And of course, in Jamaica, we call carrion crows what?
Jonko.
Good. Some sounds could be heard, but they were.
Mr. Let me see what the answers, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We heard, but muffled. I think it was muffled.
Muffled. Good. Some sounds could be heard, but they were muffled and indistinct. Number 12.
Goaded.
Goaded. A circle of boys goaded the 2 girls to fight each other. Goaded means to encourage, right? Then we have this one here. Let's see how best we can do. Okay, the many different things I hear about. So you are, before I go into it, let me remind you of what the instruction is. You're to identify the errors. So all of these sentences have errors in grammar. Might have one error. I think each of them have one error, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So each sentence has an error in grammar. You are supposed to identify that error and you are to make the corrections. So let's see. The many different things I hear about war sounds very frightening. What error did you identify?
Miss, should it be the different things?
Miss heard should be here. Here is not here. Should be heard.
Heard. The many different things I heard about war. So, no, but if you change here to heard, you'd have to change sound to sounded. Right? But it's one error that is there, so you need to identify the error. One error.
Miss, should we remove many?
No. Nothing is wrong with many being there. Many different is fine. There's nothing is wrong with saying many different things.
About war.
Think about grammar, guys. We did this.
It should not supposed to be a capital I. It's supposed to be a common I.
No, Shelley, never ever. You never ever refer to first person as with a common I. Just remember that all the time. You see once that I is going to be referring to you as the person, the many different things I hear, it should never ever be a common I. As a matter of fact, a common I will never appear anywhere by itself and it's common. If it's by itself and it's common, it's wrong. Because once it's by itself, it means it's referring to a person. And once it's referring to you, the first person, it cannot be common. So it should never, if it did come on, Shelley, you'd be wrong. That would be like the second error in the sentence. So no, that's not it. The error is right here. And remember, I told you that we did this the other day. It's a subject-verb agreement error. Many different things. It's plural. You can't have a plural subject with a verb that has an S at the end. Remember we discussed this the other day? So the error here has to do with the subject and verb agreement. So the sentence should read, the many different things I hear about war sound very frightening, not sounds. Okay? So bear that in mind, subject and verb agreement. Number 2, drive slow if you want to arrive safely. What's the error there?
Slow.
Okay, tell me, so slow is the error? What's the correct thing?
Slowly.
All right. I don't want to have to switch between, all right? So it should be slowly. All right? So drive slowly. Anne-Marie, do you know why it should be slowly instead of slow?
Not really. I think it's just subject verb agreement.
No,
Verb.
it can't be subject verb agreement. Remember, if it's subject verb agreement, the sentence would have to be in the present tense 1. And 2, you would have to have a subject that is either singular or plural that need a verb to match it, but you don't have that. You don't have that. Let me tell you what the problem is. The problem is you need an adverb in the sentence, right? Slow there in this sentence would be an adjective. An adjective is a describing word, right? So you could say, it is a slow car. The horse is slow. That's an adjective. Now, an adjective describes. An adverb, well, one thing that, well, we learned it in primary school that an adverb ends with ly, but the adverb actually tells you how something is done. Right? So if I say drive slowly, I'm telling you how to drive, and slowly there would be an adverb. But in primary school, we learned that adverbs end with ly, and everywhere we see one ly word, we say, okay, that's an adverb. Not all the time, not in all cases, a word that ends with ly will be an adverb, but in this case it is. Drive slowly if you want to arrive safely. So you need an adverb that should tell you how to do something and not an adjective. Following me, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. To repair the car, you need equipment such as spanners, screwdrivers, and pliers. What's the error there?
To repair the car.
So it should be equipment.
All right, so it should be equipment, and it should be equipment because equipment does not exist. Equipment is already a word that means all of these things, right? It's a word that already is pluralized. So equipment does not take an S. You will never find equipment taking an S. Just like a word like furniture, it's called a collective noun. Understand?
Okay.
It's a collective noun because it's just one word that contains a lot of things in there. So it doesn't take an S. I'm trying to find that thing I was using just now. Okay, I did. So the error is right here. So it should be equipment instead of equipments. Okay, I think that is one of the important questions we must ask. That's the error there?
Miss, question should be questions.
Wonderful. So questions should be questions. You need a plural word. It's one of. Once you hear one of, it means you know it's many coming after that. It must be more than one thing if you're going to say one of. Don't?
Yes.
It must be more than one thing if you're going to say one of. So it is going to be one of several. So it would be questions instead of question. All right, number 5, the number of people killed in the war were colossal.
Numbers should be numbers.
The numbers of people killed in the war were, but if you say numbers, it will be weird. It will be a very awkward sentence.
Numbers of people.
So it will be the number of people, not numbers.
Number of people.
Yes, the number of people killed in the war were colossal. And you know, colossal means big, huge, right?
Miss, where should be was?
Yes, wonderful. Yeah. Where should be was because your subject is number and the number is singular. So you need was. So wonderful. Good, good. In a hot climate like ours, we need air-conditioned buildings. What's wrong with that?
It should be air conditioned, ED.
Wonderful. It should be. I'm trying to switch between. Where am I? So it should be conditioned. So ED should be added to that word there. Good. She never listened to all the advices she got from her friends. What's the error there?
Advice.
Yup. So this S right here is problematic. She never listened to all the advice she got from her friends. So you never ever have advice being pluralized. To have advices. Okay, I noticed a large amount of cars parked in the yard. What's wrong with that one?
At the park.
No. Come again. Come again. No. Come again.
Park?
Should be park.
Stop guessing, man. Look at the sentence and tell me.
Cars, miss.
All right, I give you 3 chances. No, the error is right here. What do you need instead of amount? All right, this is a point that you should note. You see, anything that can be counted, you use number. For anything that can be counted, you use number, right?
Okay. Not amount, but number.
Not amount. You use the word amount.
Oh, large numbers of cars?
Yes, like number. So it should be, I noticed a large number of cars. No, you use amount when you are referring to things that cannot be counted, things like water. So there's a large amount of water on the floor or something like that, or she poured an amount of milk or in the glass or something. So once whatever you're referring to is countable, once it can be counted, you use number. If it's something that cannot be counted, like water, for instance, or what else? Liquid can be counted. What else can be counted? You get the idea though. Once it cannot be counted, you can use amount. But once it's something that can be counted, number. The antics of the acrobat on the trapeze. Tell me, what's the error there? This one easy, you know?
Miss Acrobats.
I'm gonna come pinch you. Who said? Shelly, no, you said. It's Trudy said. Shelly going, Trudy going pinch you.
It's antics.
Shelly, I'm gonna pinch you too.
Oh, Miss Thrilled.
But don't change the tense. The error is right here for true, but don't change the tense. You need to tell me because I did this. It's the same thing with number one. The antics of the acrobat. Antics is plural. So you can't have thrills down there, so because thrills don't match, that verb don't match with the subject. The subject is plural. So you need the verb without the S. So it is the antics of the acrobat on the trapeze thrill me. You don't need to change the tense. Just take off the S. All right? Number 10, be careful with what the mass media tells you. What's wrong there?
Tells.
Okay, why? What should be there?
Tell.
Tell should be there. Yes, wonderful. Tell should be there because media is plural. So take off the S. Number 11. Tell me one criteria you wish to judge a good story. Boy, Anne-Marie, I feel your plight.
Yes, it's true, man. A long day.
I can imagine. Come, guys. Number 10, be careful. No, number 11, tell me one criteria you use to judge a good story.
Should it be used?
No. You can't skip over criteria and tell me use.
Tell me.
Criteria, like media, is a plural word. What's the singular form of criteria? The singular form of criteria is, I'm trying to, can I write with this thing here? No, this is hard. Can't do this. Let's try.
Criteria.
Yes, that's a singular for criteria. So you should have, tell me one criterion you use to judge a good story. Got it?
Yes.
Right, criterion is singular for criteria. And you know, medium is singular for media, right? At various sites, shelters were erecting for the homeless people. Any ideas about what the error is?
Various.
Erect.
Sites, Smith.
Site is okay.
Erect.
What's wrong with erect, Shelley?
Erecting.
Yes, that's the error. The error is right there. But what should be there instead?
Erect.
No, man, you couldn't have that. You couldn't have at various sites. Shelters were erect for various.
Erected.
Were erect. Hold on. At various sites, shelters were erected for the homeless people. Okay. So erecting should be erected. and if you want to use erecting, it would have to be at various sites, shelters were being erected.
Were being.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in any way, it can't be erecting any at all. It would be were erected at various sites, shelters were erected, or were being erected. Either of those two. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right, so that's that for the vocabulary session. I needed you to look at something else tonight. I don't know if we have time. You mind we're going on till 10?
Okay.
15 more minutes? All right, for this 15 minutes, we're going to look at story writing. We're going to look at dialogue in a story. I sent you another document for you to look at. Let me see if I can find it now.
The teacher meant?
Find it now. Pardon?
I was looking at one story about the teacher. Was it comprehension?
Go again?
Never mind, it's okay.
No, you
Miss asked about the school teacher, the one that you sent.
I gave you that one too. That was for tonight's class, but we don't have time to go through it. So I think next time we'll do that. But I want you to, because that was the idea. I don't know why I thought I could do so many things tonight.
So, Miss, what are we going to look at now?
Dialogue in a story.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, wow. Okay, stop share. Let me find this, and then I'm gonna find the other one though, Anne-Marie. I sent you the school teacher and I sent you another one, didn't I?
Yes, Miss.
That's the one I want to look at. So let me find it, please. Yes, Januray. You want more mango? No more mango?
You're gonna eat mango?
Yes, mango.
Oh, wow.
You basically have two.
You love mango? Oh.
Apparently he likes fruits.
Well, that's good now. Eat all you can, then it's good for you.
All right, let's see here. So, okay, I found it. So we're gonna look at this now. So we're gonna look at dialogue in a story. All right, is everybody seeing this?
Yes, Miss.
Seeing this?
Yes.
The bride.
Yes. Okay. So we have, yes, Andre?
Mango.
Mango finish. Mango finish. All right, come.
More mango in the table.
No more mango. It's done.
No.
It's done. It's done. Okay. All right. So there are questions set on the passage here, but we won't look at the questions tonight. I want you to focus on dialogue, and I want us to make note of some tips, because you are going to start writing your stories in a while. As a matter of fact, I may just give you one for homework. But before we do that, I need you to be able to write dialogue, just in case you will be using dialogue in your stories. So there are some points that we need to note for dialogue. And of course, the first point is that everything that is said by a character should be put in quotation marks. All right, that's the first thing. Everything that is said by a character should be put in quotation marks. Quotation marks actually indicate that a character is speaking, right? And if a punctuation mark is a part of what that person is saying, it should also be inside the quotation marks. or what we call inverted commas. Understand that so far?
No, miss.
All right, look here. Look at the bribe. Good afternoon, he said. Right? So somebody is speaking. What does the person say? The person says, good afternoon. Good afternoon should be in inverted commas, or should be in quotation marks. And we know what quotation marks are, right? When we are writing it, you'll use your double. Can I edit on this? I doubt it.
Double quotation.
Right, you use a double quotation, double commas, the double inverted commas, you use those instead of what is typed here. So you use your double quotation marks. And of course, your whatever is said should start with a capital letter. Maybe I should give you the tips before, let you write them off, and then we examine this. So let me give you the tips before. Let me do a new share. I'm gonna share them with you. You'll see them. Yes, Januray. What's going on? I'm coming to see what's going on. Hold on. I'm coming to see what's going on. All right. Write these off, please. Yeah, your tablet is there? Januray? So why not use your tablet? Let me know when you're done so I can go back to the little story. Oh my, class ends in under 2 minutes. And the session ends. When that happens, just quickly stand back in and I will go through, I will be brief. I will look at the story. We'll discuss these points that we have here, and then we'll end class for the night. Yes, Januray?
Robot in the TV.
There's a robot in the TV? Okay. Are you seeing it still? Are you seeing it? I don't know if you're seeing it. I can't see it.
I'm seeing it.
Okay, good. All right, the session will end in less than a minute.